My name's Shaun Irwin. I'm currently a paramedic with the West Yorkshire Ambulance Service as part of the Hazards Area Response Team.
Oh, good run there. Shaun Irwin looks to have done a lot of weight training to meet him.
Jackson a dummy half foul. Clark out now to Irwin. Irwin pushes off one. He set up the last try and he's going to set it up again. This is Paul Eastwood.
Here we go, Shaun Irwin again. No wonder they call it from Classic Cas. He does well. He's a strong young player. Does very well here to get it out. Eastwood.
Fletcher. Irwin, suddenly there's a possibility. Has Gallagher got the speed? He's knocked it back. And Gallagher has conceded the ball to Castleford.
Well, here's a chance through Shaun Irwin. He's still going, Shaun Irwin. He's got Jonathan Davis inside, but couldn't link up with Davis. And now Davis and Mike Patton having a bit of a flare up, and it's back to one because it touched a Kiwi Colt player, and it's a try.
Quite competitive Castleford at that moment in time, and certainly quite dominant in the Yorkshire region. So Yorkshire Cup finalists 4 times. We collected 3 of those trophy-wise. Individually, captain Great Britain Colts and Great Britain under 21s along my pathway, which was a fantastic sort of accolade to be playing with those sort of individuals. So yeah, they're probably the biggest sort of career highlights. The years to come when you finish playing and on reflecting of what you've achieved or managed to achieve in that, and just you know how privileged I am to actually be part of the sort of Lions Association and be a British Lion. You know, it's phenomenal. Yeah. And it was the sort of twilight of my career then. I could have probably got another 2 years left in the game itself. I was playing quite good rugby, injury free at the back end of my career. It was the contingency plans, John, in terms of what I'm going to do next, which concerned me a little bit, to the extent where it was certainly on my mind. Really, I want 100% focused in the game itself. I was thinking then, you know, where do I go next? So I looked at the emergency services, and yeah, fortunate enough for a Castleford supporter, Nick Smith, who were actually on the interviews, really, part of the ambulance service, and I'd like to think maybe just maybe that it wasn't solely down to my performance that day. Well, the fact that I was a Cas fan that actually got me onto my career that I'm doing now. So physiotherapy actually appealed to me quite a lot, and that's probably because I was on the bench quite a lot, being rehabilitated all the time with the various injuries that we have along our sort of pathway. So actually, in an ideal world, if that were gift wrapped and left to me at the end of my career, that's probably what I would have pursued. I want academic enough to actually be able to follow that pathway. I looked at what sort of qualifications were needed to pursue being a paramedic or fire or police, and really I applied for all 3, and yeah, the rest is history, really, in terms of that. So yeah, I think the fact that the medicine part of it were down to the fact that the injuries that you got along your career, and you know, the rehabilitation process really did interest me a lot. Yeah. You require a lot of skills. The discipline of drilling week in, week out, and perfecting you know, certain moves in the and realise the outcomes of being able to drill, you know, and perfect certain skills along the way. You never leave that, and certainly that transferable skill in terms of, for myself, have been able to re-educate myself. So actually have the discipline to be able to get my head in the books and pass examinations, and that discipline that I didn't have at school, that I've now obviously gained along my rugby career, in terms of knowing that very well that if you pursue something and have the discipline to continue doing that, then you know you're gonna get success, and that's what I did in terms of academically. I was able to gain qualifications that I know prior to being a rugby league player I didn't have. I've faced with a lot of sort of tough sort of challenges as being a paramedic, and I continue to do that as well. I think actually having a rugby league career and being able to be relatively sort of calm in those sort of challenging situations, like life and death sometimes, you know, it's certainly it helped me a hell of a lot. Yeah. While we're not on duty in the mess room itself, great sort of banter itself, and I think sometimes we what we see every day, I think you need that in terms of, and you know, for example, if we deal with this sort of cardiac arrest, in that sort of downtime to enable us to move on to that next job and next job and next job. I think that's sort of really important. So that sort of downtime's fantastic, being in a sort of mess room and being able to stay together and talk about sort of things, and probably that warped sense of humour really to get us over those sort of things. And if someone asked me what the best sort of thing I've ever done in my life throughout my rugby league career and paramedic career, and you know, the one of them would be really highlights would be actually bringing someone back to life and being able to, you know, for the family to actually engage with them, you know, whereas 30 minutes later they weren't able to do that. So, you know, in terms of putting things into perspective, you know, certainly they're well and truly the sort of highlights of my sort of career in both rugby league and being a paramedic. I certainly would pursue a career in terms of the NHS itself. It's a fantastic sort of career, and it's not just medicine as well. In terms of that, there's loads of other different sort of professions within the NHS itself. Again, going forward, great sort of pension plans, great everything else. But yeah, big sort of family, big sort of turnover as well. But certainly, I've had 20 years of fantastic sort of career there. So I was fortunate to be able to still continue a little bit in rugby league itself. We're working as a tutor in the IMOF, so the immediate medical management on the field of play. So you know, I'll tutor on that once a month, which is fantastic to be able to still see a lot of sort of old players, physiotherapists and doctors that I've come across in my career itself. So that's quite nice really, and maybe that's my sort of little bit of sort of release really, and just, you know, you're still being within the game itself. So I think that helps. That certainly helps as well. Yeah.
Down the blind side, Fox. Out to the support, and there's another try. Who is it this time?
Great Britain got
Shaun Irwin.